It's time to talk money on the show. It's our money motivation segment, and today we'll be discussing about how to start a fashion designing business in Nigeria. Joining us now to discuss this is Mercy Emmanuel, a fashion entrepreneur. Mercy, good morning.
Good morning, Mercy.
Good morning.
Fashion entrepreneur, you look amazing in the jacket. Did you make that?
Thank you very much. No, I didn't make
Okay,
this.
you're
Thank
being
you very
honest,
much.
right?
Okay, so let's delve into it as quickly as we can. What does fashion designing entail?
So fashion design is actually very broad, and there are different fashion designers. There are some who agree that they are tailors, and some will never agree that they are tailors. Of course, a fashion designer who knows what he or she is doing, we say, okay, we accept that he's a tailor.
Okay.
But you see those roadside, we would never accept that they are tailors.
But are there differences between the tailor and the fashion designer?
Okay, so it's actually almost the same thing, because everybody is making clothes at the end of the day.
Okay.
But again, our level of creativity differs. So a roadside fashion designer who will never agree he or she is a tailor, it's just what the person knows is just, let me just cut, use this particular thread to make this clothes, possibly add elastic or button. But a fashion designer who is really a fashion designer will add a lot of creativity. Okay, I'm supposed to add mix this color with this color. We use the right lining, we use the right thread, we use the right maybe buttons and any other creative item he or she wants to use to design the clothes.
Okay, talking about the fashion designing industry, I know that those who do not sew, what they just do is, probably sketch,
yeah.
Various styles. That those who strictly, they just deal with, stones, embroideries and all of that. These different, fields or aspects of fashion designing, what's the process of learning, about them?
So fashion design is actually very broad. Like you can be a dressmaker, you can be into embroidering, like you said. You can be, okay, there are some that their work is just to weave clothes. There are some they are into pattern drafting. Some will just sketch the style. So it's actually very broad. But again, it's good to have an idea of all, even if you cannot do all. So for an established fashion designer will not just pick up a fabric and start cutting and sewing. You have to have, first of all, sketch the style you want to sew. That's if you don't want to follow the
regular patterns,
designs. Yes.
Okay.
So first of all, if you want to use your own creative idea, you sketch the style, then you bring out your brown paper or your white paper and do your pattern drafting. Then you cut it out before placing it on the fabric and get the exact size. But a normal tailor will just bring the fabric, drop it on the table, use chalk, then scissors cut. So, but again, it's broad. So you carve a niche for yourself. If you want to venture into embroidering, you face it and you do it well.
Okay. So,
if you want to venture into pattern drafting, you face it, you do it well. If you want to venture into dressmaking, you face it and do it well. Then if you want to be an established fashion designer and you will not have time to do all these jobs, you employ people to do it for you.
Okay. So embroidering, pattern drafting, which is more lucrative? Because it's actually the money that's more important. But all right, so which do you think is small? Because I know having to stone a clothes, and also the time I gave someone to stone my clothes, and the money the person called, it was almost the price of making another clothes. And I'm wondering, is it the prices of the stone? Because when it comes to fashion designing, if you want your clothes to be stoned, you had some stones that are really nice, that some that will fall off. So why that expensive?
So first, they will have to purchase the stone, of course. Then again, if you don't have the stoning machine, you give someone who can stone it for you. That's you have to pay the person for the services rendered. So, and it's not an easy job. For those who do it manually, they will have to put the stone one by one. Then before placing the stoning machine on it to press it down. So it's a lot of work. And at the end of the day, you realize what they are even demanding for that service rendered is not even
There's no commensurate.
Yes.
All right. So now let's look at when it comes to fashion designing, talk about clothes making. Let's just streamline it to, cloth making, it starts from at least with the little knowledge I have. I'm not the pro, you are the pro, yeah. So it starts from purchasing the fabric or can I want to make or have a design in my mind, and I bring a fabric and the tailor or designer is telling me that this fabric will not really come out well. So it's talking about fabrics. Are fabrics a thing when it comes to making clothes?
So a creative fashion designer will will know when a particular fabric suits a particular style. So there are some well-fitted dress you see in catalog that, okay, maybe it's a stretchy material, but you like the style, obviously, and you want to make the style, and you're thinking, okay, this other fabric, maybe you went with an Ankara fabric, this fabric, I want to use this fabric to make this style. Your fashion designer will let you, if a good fashion designer will let you know that, no, this fabric is not suitable for this style. So a good fashion designer, looking at a style on a catalog, or maybe you describe a style for him or her, will know whether the fabric is suitable for that style or not.
Okay, looking at styles now, I know, as she said, clients also have an idea of how they want the clothes to be sewn. But for a fashion designer who has a particular style that is probably more preferable to what the client is bringing on board, how do you go about sketching it as well as sewing it? Because I know those who probably outsource, they have the idea, the style, but they can't so they just probably do the little and then they have to give it out to someone else who can do that. So
as a fashion designer, even if you're a pro or you're a learner or you're just in between, you're not there, you're just in the middle. Once you get a fabric, the first thing that comes to your mind is, how do I go about sewing this material? You don't just drop it on the table and start cutting. Start thinking, okay, if I do it this way, because it demands a lot of calculation. If I do it this way, do it this way. Then if you know you can't do it, because of course no one is an island. If you can't do it, you go and look for someone who can explain to you or someone who can make it for you. There are fashion designers who don't sit and make dresses themselves. They outsource it to people and they collect their money. They get their own cut. So if you know a particular style a client is giving you is too, you can't undo it. And again, you can check YouTube. There are a lot of videos on YouTube, actually. I think the first time I made a corset, I watched a YouTube video. So there are a lot of YouTube videos that you can learn. You can learn through a lot of YouTube videos. Then again, if you know maybe the particular style you're searching for is not on YouTube or is not online, you can meet maybe a senior colleague or someone who you know has a higher knowledge than you.
All right, that's the thing I really want to point out. It's very important because lately on social media, we've had the issue of what I ordered versus what I got. And sometimes you could tell that those people genuinely wanted this thing. Probably they didn't have the course. I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Or the body structure did not suit the clothes. But the tailors or the designers, if they want to call themselves that, still went ahead to make that thing. So why do you think the issue of, because some people will fight, some tailors will take clothes, they know they can't finish, they just want all of those things. So what do you think causes the what I ordered versus what I got on social?
Of course, a lot of fashion designers will tell you, I can do it. Yes, maybe because they are believers. They will say, I can't do it. But at the end of the day, they end up saying, I don't want to call it rubbish.
But it's rubbish.
But it's rubbish. But the thing is, the truth is, if you can't do something, why not just say you can't do it?
How about the client that's telling you, I want,
or you outsource it?
I want a figure 8 kind of clothes, and then you don't have a figure 8.
And the client does not have figure 8. So there are a lot of cheats in fashion designing.
Okay.
So if you don't have hips, they can give you hips. That's if you meet the right fashion designer. Then you see a lot of fashion designers. They see a corset dress. They will not say, okay, I can make it. The next thing they will give you a padded. And again, the padded will not even balance. Maybe the padded will not be here, or it will be here.
Uncomfortable.
It will be very, very uncomfortable. Then the hips will be here. They'll give you another hips here. So a lot of fashion designers will tell you, I can't do it. But again, like you said earlier, there is room for outsourcing. If you cannot make a particular style, it's not a problem and it's not a big deal. You can give someone that can teach you, you can give someone that can make the clothes, and you still get your cut at the end of the day. But again, if you're meeting someone that is going to, maybe if you're outsourcing it, you can as well learn why the person is making that kind of material. Because, of course, a lot of fashion designers, they learn from their designers. Yes.
So how long will I take? Sorry about that. How long will I take to learn a fashion? Probably, I don't know. I don't want to call it tailoring because I don't know. Well, whichever. Just to make clothes. Like, what's the duration? Some people spend 6 months, 1 year, and they still end up not doing a very good job. Others spend less and still do better job. So, what really is the duration?
So, I've seen someone that learned fashion designing for almost 3 years, and today she's not even there. So, it depends on our level what would I call it? Assimilation, then interest. So you're interested. If you're not interested in it, don't bother going into it at all. Of course, you have to fall in love with whatever you find yourself doing, so you can do it well. So if you're not interested in it, don't because my friend is making clothes, my friend is making a lot of money in clothes making, I want to venture into it, because again, it's a lot of work. So if you want to learn, if you're a fast learner and you're interested in it, 6 months, 1 year, you can learn and you learn it well.
Talking about learning, I know you mentioned earlier, various several videos on YouTube. That's one means of learning. We're also looking at those who are aspiring to get into this beyond, social media, beyond the 1 year, tutorial you just talked about. What's the cost of learning? Because I'm sure these schools do not come for free.
Okay, so I'm not going to make advert for any fashion school.
No, definitely.
But different fashion schools, they have their own prices, charges. But again, if you don't have fund, if you don't have money to attend the fashion school, if you don't have data or you don't have a browsing phone to start learning fashion design, I'll give myself as an example. I started learning fashion designing in my uncle's sitting room, because my auntie, she has a lot of sewing machines, and she has a stable machine. I didn't have knowledge of sewing, but again, I made use of that opportunity. Every time you see me, I'll carry a table machine. You know that Obioma table now? Machine. I'll carry a table machine, put it on the table, get fabrics in the house, and I started, with that, I started learning how to sew rather, sorry. I started from patching clothes. My aunt, she'll give me clothes to patch for her, I will adjust for her, like that. And I realized I'm interested in this thing. I love this thing. Because most times you see me with needle trying to amend clothes. I realized I love it. So after a while, because I needed to get a sewing machine for myself, I did a job like for a period of time to get, and I got the money, and I got a manual sewing machine for myself. At the point I got that sewing machine, I did not have the knowledge of sewing. I was not a pro. But I started learning gradually. Then again, make use of people around you. You have a lot of friends that sew. So that your spare time that you sit down, watch movies on Netflix, gist with friends. Why not just go to that your friend's house? Please show me how, guy, show me how to make this thing. Okay, your friend might do shakara, like I cannot teach you for free. But again, gradually you will learn.
Okay, how about the cost? I mean, yes, you've learned maybe a sewing machine, you get needles, thread, and basic fabrics. So I know the different brands of sewing machine, but the average cost.
Okay, I think the last time I got an electric machine, I think so around 150,000. So it depends, and you know there's inflation.
Yes.
It depends on the particular machine you are buying and
how about
the
manual?
brand.
That's electric.
Manual should be up to 30 something, 40 something thousand. When I got mine, it was 16,000.
Okay.
And that was some years back. So it depends, because of inflation, like I said, the prices are going up. But
and the brands as well.
Yes, but again, if you know you're interested in this thing, go for your market survey. How much is this thing? How much is sewing machine? How much is the scissors? How much is the measuring tape? So have your list, the list of items you need to get, the prices, then plan towards it.
Okay, how about those who are not interested in the sewing in terms of, dressmaking, but are more interested in probably the embroidery or, the design and the sketches and all of that? Are there classes or tutorials for this as well?
Okay, for those interested in embroidering or you want to go into pattern drafting, of course you have to go to a fashion school.
Okay.
Where you will learn all the nitty-gritty of
that particular niche.
Yes.
All right, now just to add to what he said, because I was going to come to the question. Now, there are people who have made so much money by just styling. We've thought the recent awards, the AMVCA, we had a lot of people. I'm not about to do free adverts for anybody, but then there's a particular lady who is making, ladies right here in Lagos who are making so much money. Even when the post, you see that the dress was made by this, makeup by this, styled by, and apparently they earn almost the same amount of money or more than the even the person who made the dress doesn't even earn like them. And I'm wondering, styling is a thing. So what if I want to just be a fashion stylist, style people for events? What does it take to make that kind of money?
So the thing is, aside going to training school, fashion school, you have to be a creative thinker.
Fashion inclined.
Yes, you have to be fashion inclined. Okay, if I match this with this, if I put flare here, I put A shape here, will it be fine? You have to be very, very creative.
Now I'm lost.
And it's not everybody that have that knowledge.
Okay.
Most fashion designers, okay, shall give me catalog. What style do you want to sew? most of them, they are not even ready to sit down to create, to think, how can I mix this thing together? How can this be different from what other people are sewing? How can I be single? How can I be singled out among other fashion designers? So you have to be a creative thinker. Before you can earn that money as a stylist, a fashion stylist, you have to be a creative thinker. And you have to be ready for it.
I think that's a good place to wrap up the segment with Mercy Emmanuel. Thank you so much, Mercy.
Thank you so much.
And that was a good one on money motivation segment with Mercy Emmanuel, an entrepreneur. You've heard all she said. So if you have plans on going into the business of fashion designing, whatever it is, just, make good use of your time. Very important key point there, right? We'll take a short break now. Coming up next, SWOT segment is up next.
The cosmetics and personal care industry globally generates an estimated annual turnover of around $400 billion over the last 20 years. In Nigeria, the beauty and personal care market could reach 3.2 billion euros by 2021, making Nigeria the rising star in sub-Saharan Africa. Products for hair and body care are predominant on the beauty market in sub-Saharan Africa, where face products and makeup remain marginal but have strong potential. Africa's largest economy clearly has a lot to offer. The Nigerian beauty and personal care market is currently worth more than $1.25 billion at retail and is forecast to reach more than $1.31 billion next year, according to Euromonitor International. It includes a wide range of products from skincare items to makeup and beauty items. These are items that predominantly appeal to women and men alike to purchase beauty products, even though men are interested in cosmetics. Nigeria has emerged as the investment destinations of choice to international firms aiming to capture the beauty and personal care market in the continent. The photography business is a very competitive industry. Every year, thousands of talented photo lovers consider turning their passion into a money-making business venture. Especially in a fiercely competitive marketplace like Nigeria, in which it is very easy for anyone to buy a digital camera and call themselves a professional photographer. According to some practitioners, a new photographer who wants a standard studio can start with a budget of 3.5 million naira. However, one can start with a lower budget of about 500,000 to 1 million naira, depending on the tools and cost of rent. On the average, the cost of photography equipment is around 294,790 naira. However, the price ranges from around 41,000 naira to as high as 2.46 million naira. Nigeria has a population of over 200 million people with a vibrant movie industry that produces 50 movies per week, generating annual revenue of approximately $590 million from between 2016 and 2021, helping the photography industry as a whole, according to a recent research by the UN.
Are you a business owner looking for the right exposure to attract massive clients to your brand? The long search is definitely over.